your host for the Homeowner Show. This is our first day back for 2026. So, Afishapa, Happy New Year to all of you. Today, we are discussing a topic that every aspiring homeowner would be interested in: affordable housing and how government policies and private partnerships can drive affordable housing. So when we come back, we will be speaking with the Executive Director of GREDA and the Executive Secretary of GREDA. I'll give you more information when we come back.
More than 80% of global trade is carried by sea. Most of the products we consume daily travel through ports, making them a key link in the global supply chain. The Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority is committed to ensuring the enhancement, resilience and sustainability of port infrastructure and maritime trade. Get to know which vessel is bringing your goods, how much duty you are required to pay, and how quickly you can clear your goods from the ports of Ghana. We ask the relevant questions and elicit responses from the appropriate authorities. We interact with you via our social media platforms and put your queries across to the expert. Iron Port shows this and every Sunday live on Metro TV at 5:30 p.m. Iron Port is proudly brought to you by and powered by the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority. Iron Port, transparency in doing business and building a nation.
Are you looking for a property to buy or rent? eWells Realty has got you covered. At eWells, we offer comprehensive advisory services in mortgage finance, sales, marketing, leasing, and investment. At eWells, we are here to guide you through all your real estate needs. So make sure you call them on 050 or 158 0464, or you can email at info@ewellsconsult.com. Are you planning for your wedding, birthday parties, end-of-year parties, surprise parties, etc.? Sophie's Food Bank has got you covered. They cook delicious meals and finger foods, both local and continental. So give them a call on 0205 793 951. And be sure to join the Homeowner Show on Metro TV every Saturday at 6 p.m. as we bring you all exciting and educative conversations from the building and construction industry in Ghana and beyond. To sponsor or partner with the Homeowner Show, please text 0243 272753. And make sure you follow us on all our social media pages. Comment, like, and share at Metro TV Ghana and Homeowners TV GH. The WhatsApp number to send in all your questions, 0243 272753. All right, welcome once again to the Homeowner Show. I'm so excited about this particular conversation. To my immediate left, we have Mr. Samuel Amegaibor, right? I got it. Okay, he is the Executive Director of GREDA. You are welcome.
Thank you.
And then to my far left, we have Mr. Salah Kweku Kalmoni. He is the Executive Secretary. You are welcome.
Thank you very much.
Great to have you both here. Already, I want to ask, what is GREDA? What does it stand for? What is GREDA about?
Okay, I can start.
Yes, please do.
GREDA is an acronym
Okay.
which represents the Ghana Real Estate Developers Association. And it was established in 1988
Wow.
as one of the prescriptions of the World Bank at that time. Ghana and the World Bank were running a program called Structural Adjustment Program. And it was one of the prescriptions that was given to us by the World Bank, that government should extricate itself from direct involvement in the supply of housing and allow the private sector to do that, so that government only becomes the facilitator of the process. And so I would want to ask whether we have lived by that arrangement since 1988. I think we did very well in the early stages when GREDA was formed. And unfortunately, due to change of government, due to some policy change and direction, this was not followed through. And currently we find ourselves in a situation where sometimes I call it a competition between the private sector and government. Because you find government trying to build houses on their own, and then the private sector also building houses. And for me, it is not the best. As a country, when you have a program or you decide on a course, it is better you follow it through. If there are challenges along the line, you rather take steps to address those challenges, but pursue that agenda. And I'm sure if we had pursued this throughout from 1988 to now, I'm sure the housing deficit would not be where it is. But here we are. It is not lost yet. I mean, we still have an opportunity to do better.
Yes, you said something interesting about government versus private enterprises building houses. So one could argue that the government steps in to build houses more like social housing where it's non-profitable, right? Whereas private enterprises are there to make a profit. So if government steps in to build houses for public servants, etc., why would that appear to be some sort of conflict with the private entities?
It shouldn't be, ideally shouldn't be a conflict. But one will ask, have you found any social housing that has been supplied by the government? You realize that there have been rather social interventions in some of those housing projects. And some of the houses that government has turned out, go and find out what their price points are, and go and find out what the private sector price points are. And you realize that the private sector is doing far better than government. So it means that there are challenges that the private sector is facing. So instead of spending all your time going up and down just like a private sector,
you know, who is building these houses?
yeah.
Is it still not private and public partnership with that?
No, it's not. It's not the same, because if you contract a private entity to build, it's like, I mean, deliver and I pay you.
Right.
But you don't find those interventions that I'm talking about in most of those contracts and the relationship between those projects and what they end up churning out. And I mean, 5,000 affordable housing.
Yes.
It's still under construction.
It's still under
at
construction.
A point.
Yeah. Yeah. So you talked about GREDA and the mandate. So how many developers do you have under GREDA now, and what are the qualifications? I mean, how do you determine whether this developer can be a part of this council or not? Is there any sort of certification that's necessary, any skill set, that sort of thing?
No. No, real estate is a business. And so far as you have a business called real estate, and you have the complement of the various technicians and the team that can have it done, and you register it, and you have real estate as part of your object in your business registration. At the moment, it is something that we hope to get there, where maybe any real estate developer that comes into the country will be issued some form of license. I wouldn't say necessarily GREDA. If GREDA does it, that would be the best. But we need to get some kind of licensing for people, and under the circumstances, if the mandate is given to GREDA, that will be good. Okay. And I'm sure it will help in the sanitization of the system that we have.
Mr. Common, you want to add to that?
Let me add to it. We have, I think, over 150 paid-up members.
Okay.
In terms of the industry, it's about 500, but the serious ones are 150. And in our real estate journal, which is the oldest running real estate magazine, at the back side we list all the paid up members. And this magazine is printed once a year. So if you want to see the updated members, we have them in our magazine.
Okay, and I think that's great to see that you have members that are part of the association, right?
Yes.
And you are the accountable body. So if anything goes wrong with either purpose of
You can
the
talk about
association, tell us a
committee,
little.
and one of them
Yes.
is the disciplinary committee.
Tell us about
so
that.
we GREDA has about 5 standing committees that
Okay.
assist the council to be able to deliver its mandate. And one of the committee that deals with issues like this is called Legal Complaints and Disciplinary Committee. So if you are a public, anybody who engages any of our members, and you find yourself in any form of trouble, either delivery, documentation, or any challenge you may have with any of our developers, if you make an official complaint to us, the committee have a way of dealing with it,
Great.
assisting the client to get at least a redress. And that has been done severally in the past. We still have a few cases on our hand we are dealing with, and we always do this.
So there is accountability for those developers that are not following a certain code of ethics.
Sure.
It's a backup. Unlike any person who's building, at the end, there's no way to redress.
Great. So, you know, if we just look back at the last 2-3 years, tell us, what has GREDA been able to achieve? What can you proudly say that these are some of our accomplishments, these are some of our milestones?
Research and development and advocacy.
Wonderful.
Obviously, advocacy, that's what we are doing here today. But in terms of research,
Our existence now sprout on their own. We can talk about the Dev Tracos, the Reggie Manuel, the Lakeside Estate, the Blue Rose. I mean, so many other names, the Imperial Homes. I mean, several. All these companies were birthed
Through
by
GREDA.
GREDA. And so we cannot underscore what GREDA has been able to bring to Ghana in terms of housing supply.
Yeah, congratulations. I mean, that sounds like an incredible achievement in the last few
Thank
years.
you.
So you touched on something earlier about government and GREDA. Have there been any type of collaborations at all? Or if not, what steps are you taking towards that direction?
Back to me again.
that's a political question.
Okay.
Okay, so
I'll ask you the next question.
first of all, as an association,
Right.
and as an entity that is overseeing real estate, there are other platforms that we have no choice, and government also have no choice, and that we must definitely collaborate. And that is, first of all, to the ministry. We have a perfect and very wonderful relationship with the ministry when it comes to engagement,
Okay.
and that has become our source of anytime GREDA has concerns, our mother ministry becomes the first point that we tailor our concerns to, and then further send it to the various other sectors or ministries. And the ministry normally assists us to engage at that level. Apart from that, we have now an entity that has been established by an act called Real Estate Agency Council. That has been established to regulate brokers and agents. However, as real estate developers, we have a department that is into sales and marketing.
Right.
And so we need to collaborate with that entity also to ensure that the mandate of that entity is fully achieved. It has to do with real estate transaction reporting. And so a lot of people will see some changes in the way real estate transactions take place in Ghana very soon. It has started already, but stakeholders are the people that are now before going through training. And then the general public also at a point in time will also be heavily informed, and REACT has taken that up. And they are doing this in collaboration with us. We have another entity called the FIC, Financial Intelligence Center, that is also in charge of money laundering activities. And as you may know, our business somehow lately has been sort of
I was going to touch on that.
wrongly branded,
Right.
as if it is a place that we embrace money laundering, which is never the case. We'll leave that discussion for another time anyway.
Well, I may
But,
touch on that a little bit
yes,
later.
we will, but the FIC also collaborate with us
Right.
to ensure that our compliance is fully adhered to, and to also make sure that the industry doesn't become a haven for money launderers. And so we are working with this entity. Other entities like Yoko and the rest, at a point in time, they engage us And we are at that platform. It's one area where we all collaborate to do things. Now, when it comes to housing delivery itself, we haven't had much. There were times that we ourselves as association have presented proposals to the government, and unfortunately, it hasn't head to where we expect it to head. So we have always hit
a brick wall.
A brick wall, and so we've not been able to, except in the past where we had that wonderful tripartite between the defunct Bank for Housing and Construction and SNITS, and then HFC, and then GREDA. We were wonderfully doing some collaboration in building the earlier projects that I talked to you about, the Community 18, the 19, and then the GREDA estate itself. Those were perfect collaborations that existed in the past that somehow we have not continued to now. And so that wonderful collaboration in terms of deliberately increasing the housing stock is not really there at the moment. And so that is where I said that it seems we are in competition. Because government, you find government trying to also develop housing, and then it doesn't do that arrangement with us. You understand? So we think that if the collaboration has been perfected, rather, that government, I want to do so and so housing units, I want to spread my tentacles around the country. Can GREDA assist me to do it? And then we will all come to the table and then focus on what can be done by both parties. And as I said, the interventions that would have been wonderful from the government would have been what our headaches. Where do we get funding from? Where do we get land that is not giving us problems? Where does government itself want to increase housing, locations, and where they want to? And then we look at things like a basic infrastructure. How do we do that? And I think if we had collaborated on those levels, our housing situation
deficit would have reduced a bit. So with the GREDA members, are they just in Accra? Because everyone says we don't only need houses in Accra, we need houses everywhere. So are the members spread all across Ghana, or are they just concentrated in Accra?
Yes, our members are actually all over Ghana. We have...
like, name some of the areas for our
we have
viewers.
In Kumasi, what they call
no, we have about 10.
In Kumasi,
10 developers at least in Kumasi.
Wow.
Kumasi, Takoradi.
We have a few there, Central region.
Okay.
We have in the Eastern region, and then by the chunk of them are in the Greater. In fact, most of the development in Greater, their offices are in Greater, but some of them are operating in the Central region, some are operating in the Eastern region as well.
So all across the 16
it's
regions.
just beyond the Ashanti region that we don't have. I think we have one developer in the north.
Okay.
But we are not sure of his pedigree yet in terms of how many significant units he's doing there. But we have one member that is operating in the north. But we are mostly.
Okay, I'm sure we'll get more of that in the magazine as well to find out where they all are. So the question I have for you is, now we want to talk a little bit more about affordable housing. This is a topic that I think we have spoken about year after year in every real estate conference, etc. But I'll ask you this question, Mr. Sala, in terms of affordable housing. First of all, let's break down that definition so that our viewers have a good understanding. When we talk about house, what are we referring to? And then I would like to zone in on what is affordable, because what is affordable to me may not be affordable to you, or vice versa. So let us know what the industry standards are for a house, and then the word itself, affordable.
This is a fantastic question. There are actually 3 definitions, but I'll focus on the GREDA definition. There's an academic definition which I find academically nice, but not functional. There's an IFC, which is also not functional. But I think the GREDA definition, which was part of our research, which I led about 15 years ago. So when you say affordable house, you have to define the house before you say what is affordable. So a house must have the following features. It must be self-enclosed. It means it has its own door, its own utility, its own electricity, and now we need fiber. Number 2, it must have a kitchen. The kitchen could be open. It must have a living room, and it must have at least 1 bedroom, and it must have a washroom. And it must be a minimum area of 45 square meters or more. That is a house. Now, affordable is anything between 250,000 Ghana cedis to 750,000 Ghana cedis. If
Please,
you want
let's
the
repeat
dollar,
those
if
figures.
you want the dollar equivalent, so it's 250,000 Ghana cedis to 750. That's basically the equivalent, approximately $25,000 to $65,000. And this is a practical definition, because the IFC did some research about, I think, 20 years ago, and they said the median price of what a Ghanaian can afford over a 20, 30-year mortgage is $7,500 US, which is like about 80,000 Ghana cedis. And 80,000 Ghana cedis will buy you a toilet. So it's not a practical, construction has a real cost. And we are talking here about something practical, something which is doable. And as we said, this is you can do this on affordable housing. Now, the next question comes, who are doing this? Because people think that we only do high-rise building in Cantonment, where the studio is about 900,000 Ghana cedis. But a lot of our members, I'll mention the top three, which I think our customers know them. We have Blue Rose, we have Adum City, and Reboof. They are building affordable housing between 300,000 Ghana cedis to about 700,000 Ghana cedis, which is within. And they have 1 bedroom, 2 bedroom, 3 bedroom. So the industry, we are very proud of our members who do these things.
So from 250,000 cedis to 700,000 Ghana cedis.
750,000.
750,000 Ghana cedis, and that's with $1 to 10 CD rate. I mean, at this point, so it's $25,000 to $75,000. $65,000. So these three that you've mentioned, where are they building? Because people want affordable housing within the city center. So where are they building, and where can we find these affordable housing?
You can't find an affordable house in a city center anywhere in the world. I think you just answered that question.
But where are they building?
It has to
these
be,
are some of the questions.
It has to be in the suburbs.
Yeah. So these are some of the questions we're getting from the viewers.
Some of these numbers, as Mr. Kamani mentioned, are developing in the Kaswa enclave.
Okay.
Some are in the Tema Dowenya enclave.
Okay.
Also, and that is not bad.
It's not too far. About 30, 45 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You see, I think people must also be realistic in their expectation. They sometimes do a very terrible comparison. And I live in this place. I live here, and houses are so expensive. Look, everywhere you go in the world, the real estate is segmented. Those who can afford the upper class, they go for the upper class. I was in the U.S. some time ago, and somebody took me to a 2-bedroom apartment in Manhattan, and it was being sold for $2.6 million.
Yep.
Yes.
That's what you will get in Manhattan.
You mentioned that in Ghana, and the whole brouhaha will take place.
Well, people's argument is luxury in Ghana is different to luxury in the U.S. and Europe.
I think in most cases, the
tell
way
us
they
a little bit about the
it's terrible, and I think they have to be fair. And even where we have look, a simple definition of a house, as Mr. Kamani said, is a building providing shelter with walls and roof. A typical Ghanaian come up with an engineering solution to develop a house which you can call affordable house, and use maybe some unconventional materials. The typical Ghanaian who doesn't have enough money will come to your compound, enter the building, and start knocking the wall. You hear cuckoo, hey. This one you use chipboard. This one you use that. But what is a house? Are you getting the picture?
Yes.
So when you don't have the means to get those kind of properties, and there's an engineering solution that gives you the basic thing like the shelter, the walls, the roof, gives you the space. We must be able to accept them. But Ghanaians are not accepting. They want the same brick and block mortar, solid, on the ground, with all sometimes luxury features. And I have always said that, look, don't go for luxury features, go for functional features. And so I think with that, it's an advice to both of us, both the developers themselves, to come out with options for that. And then people are also who are looking for properties to buy should also manage their expectation. And we can work something out for everybody to be happy. I'm very sure about that.
Thank you, Mr. Samuel. He says to manage your expectations. We are going to take a short break, and when we come back, we're going to have some questions from viewers, and we're going to dive more into affordable housing and green housing and its efficiency right here in Ghana. We'll be right back. From finding your dream home to building a legacy for your family, the Homeowner Show has been your trusted guide.
How sure are you what you are getting is the right land? And it has to do with searches, land commission, checking social planning authority, checking everything to make sure that what you are buying is not a problem or a challenge-prone transaction.
The stress of even not owning a house and constantly coughing up to rent is a big issue.
Join me, Hannah Atiasi, and my distinguished panelists as we delve into exciting conversations. Season 3 of the Homeowner Show, every Saturday at 6 p.m., only on Metro TV. Don't just own a house, build a legacy for your family.
If you walk around my area, airport residential, a lot of cantonments, all Laboni, all the high prices are going up. I mean, everywhere in the world, developers go to bank to take loans for those developments. Some of these apartments are all empty. Do you think that if money were collected from banks would not have moved in? Because
so are you saying that funded by politicians or people?
I didn't say that. What I'm saying is that they are being funded through sources which are not honest.
Are they questionable sources?
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Interesting. That's something that we should do an investigation on. That many of these properties are empty.
Go around and ask, why are apartments empty? And if you have borrowed money, if you've gone to the bank to borrow money to build, you will not be sure. You would ensure that those apartments are fully occupied.
Wow.
I'm just using that as an example.
Correct.
Of the things that go on in this country. Because I've gone to banks to try and borrow money to build.
It's not that easy.
Don't have, the Ghanaian banks are not that well endowed. The balance sheets are not strong enough that they give you patient capital to go and develop. Okay.
So where are they getting the funds from?
The interest rates are just astronomical. You can hardly make it as a developer here. I'm telling you this now.
So like as an entrepreneur, a developer, and a real estate mogul, it means that many of you are struggling to get mogul, by which you are.
I'm not.
As a developer, is that modest enough?
Use of my wealth is highly exaggerated.
We'll talk about your Forbes rating and all of that. So you believe that some of these developers, their source of wealth is questionable because if they build, nobody lives in it, and you see some of them with estates.
And banks have not come to, take them over. So anyway, that was a message.
That's right.
Because you did ask for examples. But I think that, quite frankly, you don't have to go too far. Every day you open the newspapers or you turn on your TV, every day scandals are being unearthed. And it's not good for the image of the country. It's not good for our development. And that's when it comes back to what the issue I made about a sacred trust. Leadership is a sacred trust.
We are back on the Homeowner Show with my guests, Mr. Samuel Emegayibor. I got it. the executive director, and I really want some clarity on the two different titles. And we have the executive secretary, Mr. Salah Kalmoni. So tell me quickly, before we dive into the video that we just watched, what is the difference between the titles of director and secretary, and what are your roles for GREDA?
Okay, so the executive director is like the CEO, in charge of the association, managing the affairs and working under the governing council, which is the board. And then the executive secretary is the secretary to the board.
Okay.
And so I know the confusion that a lot of people are having, because people address me executive secretary and they address me executive director. But I have been both for quite a while, I think from 2015 until last year, when our constitution banned me from standing again as executive secretary.
Okay.
So I had to step aside, because executive secretary is an elected position.
I see.
So I had to step aside for Mr. Kalmoni and somebody else to contest. And then Mr. Kalmoni emerged victorious and now represent the executive secretary to the board or to the council. So that's the difference. But I was doing both.
Right.
I was both for a while.
Okay, so they banned you temporarily because you're still at an executive position.
Well,
so
the executive,
you are doing great things,
the executive
apparently.
director position is,
Yes.
is by appointment.
By appointment,
So
fantastic.
the council, previous council appointed me, and the current council let me on. As to whether I'll be on for a long time or they will make an arrangement to replace me, I don't know. But I am serving well, and I'm always there to contribute to my contribution.
Another way of saying, he does the full-time job, I do a part-time job.
But
you're living your best life.
Yes, but unfortunately, I cannot do this on full-time basis at the moment.
Okay.
So I'm also doing a part-time,
right.
But I'm the executive director.
Absolutely.
To the secretary.
So we just watched a video where Mr. Sam Jonah was being interviewed by Bolloré. And I have two questions for you on that video. The first question is, all these developers that are part of GREDA, where are they getting the funding from to develop? And then the next question is, you know, we talk about a housing deficit, but then why are these houses empty, supposedly?
Okay. First of all, when it comes to funding, there are several models that most of the developers have adopted. And I am sure Mr. Sam Jonah may not know some of the current models that some people use. Apart from what we know, people borrowing money from the bank, as he made reference to. There are other models where we have a barter trade, for example, barter, where people contribute certain materials to the project that they don't have to pay physical cash. And I'll give you an example. I was approached by a company that's into cabinets and furniture and cabinets. And the company told me, look, I have stock, very huge stock of this material sitting there. I'm not able to sell. So he came to agree with me. I'm going to provide all these cabinets that you have, your kitchens, your wardrobe, your doors. I'm going to provide them for you. Give me 2-3 units out of your building, because he's not selling. And so I can finance this through that. Others come, I want to give you iron rods. I want to give you cement. I want to give you tiles. These are models that are ongoing. So you can have a project that has some of these models. Some also have off-plan sales, where because of their history and their pedigree in the system, people are willing to pre-finance the cost of buying the houses. So you design the model, you come up with a design, and you can get some of your units sold even before you start digging. And so that gives you some funds ahead of time that you may not necessarily have to go to the bank to borrow. And then we have also a lot of foreign investment these days into most of our projects, where people, rich people, individuals, people who are doing business elsewhere, but have made so much money. So their funding is what we call patient money. Their money is not in a rush to go anywhere. They feel that banking is not too attractive. So they invest it into real estate. I have $1 million, I have $2 million. Can you just use it for your projects? I have time. You get my point. So,
yes, so
there
private
are
investors.
so many funding models that exist right now that some of our people don't know.
Right.
And so they see some of these projects coming up, and the presumption is that there is dirty money. I cannot contest Mr. Sam Jonah. He's a very senior citizen, and he's not the only one who has made some of this comment that GREDA didn't feel very happy about. Honorable Sam George also at a point made some statement like this, and sometimes the way the statement is made is what becomes the issue, where it is put out bluntly as if the industry is all about money laundering, and that is where we have an issue. And from the beginning of this discussion, I told you how we have effectively collaborated with FIC, which is the body that is dealing with these money laundering issues, the ministry itself, and then now we have REACT, which is mandated to regulate transactions in real estate, and sometimes the law enforcement agencies like YOCO. We have not run away from our responsibility to ensure that the industry is not a hub for real estate, money launderers. However, if there are people that people think, or there are some real cases of money launderers, why have you not reported to the law enforcement agencies to deal with? So you cannot do that when you don't have evidence and fact to support some statement that people make. And I think it is better for all of us as a country and as a nation to be wary of certain statements that we make public. And then when we make them, we must be very, very sure of what we are saying. And if there's something that you must furnish the law enforcement to deal with, I think it is better you do that than to make some public statement. Now, Ghana is going to be reviewed. We have something we call mutual peer review. That is done across countries. And Ghana is going to be subjected to our anti-money laundering mitigating measures and compliance in this country from 25th of January up to 6th of February. And these are some of the things that the assessors are going to look at. Some statements like this will be taken by these assessors and say, you have a senior citizen of your country, a senior man who has made this categorical statement. How do you defend yourself? Like you are quizzing me here to explain to you how we do our funding. These are very serious matters. And if we don't handle them well, it will escalate. And the next thing you see is that Ghana as a country has been blacklisted on the financial market. You will be sitting in this country, any business that you do, you have a proposal to get funding from outside. Because of some of the statements and some of the things that we make that we don't have proof to support, goes to some of these monitoring agencies, and it goes a long way to affect our chances of penetrating the international market for funding sources for our business in Ghana. So whilst you think you are saying this against the real estate, the effect is not going to be on real estate alone. It's widespread. If your country is blacklisted or it is grey listed, they don't say that you are going to borrow corn, money to come and plant corn, so you are safe. The whole country becomes a risk. Apart from the industry becoming the heavier, to be risked, the whole country also becomes risk. And when we are blacklisted, you are not blacklisted for money real estate money laundering. You are blacklisted
as a nation.
As a nation. And so let us be careful of some of these things that we say. And I think it is important for all of us to play to the gallery. Let's say positive things about our industry. Let's say all the good things. And if there are issues that need to be addressed by security agencies and we have information, let us be more responsible and send some of this information to those responsible agencies so that they take it up. And then we stop the speculation. I think speculation doesn't help. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Related to this issue, our accountants and all they come to attend seminars, and I think this coming Tuesday, the CEOs are invited to be aware about this issue, which, as
about the
Mr.
money
Sami
laundering
said,
issue?
No, yes, the peer review.
The peer review. We believe, yes, this is happening, but this is, they have put it out of context. A lot of people who are buying our affordable housing and things like that, I don't think they're have anything. They have saved 10, 20 years of their life saving to own a house in Ghana, and we should respect those people.
Thank you. And so the other question is, people will then argue, why are these houses empty? And the houses that are empty, are they the affordable housing or are they the high-end homes? And that is where they relate money laundering to is high-end homes, not affordable homes. So where are these houses empty, and why do you think, maybe from your research and development division, do you think that they're empty?
Okay, so as for people developing properties that have become empty. There may be so many factors to it. Before the COVID and after COVID, there has been a lot of changes in our operations. Some multinationals that were having heavy presence in the country have sort of reviewed their modus of operandi, and so they don't have the large staff in the country anymore. People may also have misconception about the business and have developed project models that have not been very well marketable to the community, to wherever they develop them. And so it has affected their sales. I also told you that some people have funding that are patient. I explained that to you.
Yes.
That for the fact that they want to go and put this money in the bank, that will give them some little interest at the end of whatever. They feel that it is better to put them into real estate, because if you check, most Ghanaian properties don't become less valuable after years. They rather appreciate in value. And so they have decided that, look, instead of stashing so much money in the bank, I want to put it into real estate. And they have a marketing or sale arrangement that they expect that things will pick up. You get my point. And so we cannot, because a few houses have become empty, then suddenly it is because people have money launders money and they are putting them in property. It may be true, but the point is that if it is true, who are they? And if you have information about somebody doing that, what have you done to it? What have you done with that information? Instead of, speculating, saying it, or have you done what you are supposed to do so that the whole country become clean? Because there are so many real, genuine real estate developers in the country who are equally suffering because of, so-called competition with some dirty influence. And so everybody is worried. I cannot sit here and know my colleague is heavily involved in money laundering. He doesn't have any thinking to do, that a bank will write to him the next day that your interest rate is due to pay, your interest rate is overdue. You'll be running to the bank, and you have shivers all over you because the bank is on your neck. And so if I know a senior colleague or somebody who is into it, I'll be worried, and I'll be interested in reporting that senior person to the law enforcement agency to clean us from this trouble. Because we cannot all go to the same market. When I am selling my house as so and a chunk of the profit goes to a bank, and somebody, he's just sitting there building with dirty money, making so much money, and you think I should be happy to look at that person going, for me, I'll report to that person. And so as a country and as business colleagues, we must all be interested in having a well-sanitized industry. And especially when we are being peer reviewed from 25th of this month to February, we must all put our hands on deck to make sure that Ghana doesn't become grey listed or blacklisted, because the consequences of that is very much bigger than speculations.
Absolutely. So I'm going to go to viewers in a little bit and get all your questions that are coming in. But quickly, we've heard about tax increase. How does that affect, I'll ask you, Mr. Stella, the housing industry? And, out of the 150 developers you have part of the association, you've named about 3 that are in, doing affordable housing. Why do you think it is that, on the whole, housing is not affordable? Is it because of the tax increase, or what is it in your opinion, or based on your research?
Yes, actually we were very surprised that when the government moved the 1%, the COVID, they did 20% on housing. So obviously 20% is a lot of money, because traditionally people don't have, let's say if I'm going to buy a 300,000 Ghana cedi house, people don't have 300,000. They have 100,000, then they mortgage the balance, and you need to pay 20%. So now that 20% is gone as tax. So now basically you're back to zero. A person has saved 5 to 10 years to get a mortgage. So and this not yes, it affects the affordable, the middle income, the higher income, and it will disturb the whole economy. So we want the, we actually met, before the increase, we met the Ministry of Housing, we met the Minister of Finance, that even the previous government introduced a 6% to reduce it to 0. Now it's 20%.
Wow.
So the whole industry right now is in a crisis, and we want the government, especially the Ministry of Finance, to review this and make this, remove this tax. There were other ideas. I think you can elaborate on how they can grade it and do things to that.
Sure. All right, I'll let you do that. I have a few questions from the viewers, and then we have to wrap up the show. Hello, Dr. Hannah. My name is John Lewis in Cantonments. I'm watching your show. Thanks for watching, John. And thanks for analyzing the Sam Jonah comment on the show. I'm into real estate, and my friends think I'm into dubious business. This is Kofi Esiedu in Tema. Hello, Kofi. From your discussion, I can now conclude that there is no affordability, and I agree to that. Oh boy, we did mention 3 affordable housing developers. We did mention that. Hello, Dr. Hannah. This is Al Hassan Napanduru. Please, what is GREDA's take on ensuring that government builds social housing for workers? Okay, and then the other one is, please, I'm an agent, GH agency. The system of payment at Lakeside is very easy. They make things easy for customers. I'm sure Mr. Kalmoni will be happy to hear that. Thank you so much for that. Hello, Metro TV and Homeowner Show. This is a great show. This is Anita. Anita, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you all for tuning in. We have to wrap up in a few minutes, but I will let you answer that question, and then please give us your final thoughts, and then we'll be wrapping up for tonight.
I think some of our engagement with government has to do with its revenue. Taxes is revenue for government. And we think that government should not focus on taxing real estate with VATs and all these things. What they can do is to soften the grounds for more properties to be made available on the market, and rather focus on things like rent income tax and property tax. These are taxes that would generate so much. However, we have not taxed those sectors very well. And so we are just looking for the easier way that we are selling. But this has a long way of affecting the purchasing power. Unfortunately, we don't have too much time, but the purchasing power of the Ghanaian is heavily affected when 20% VAT, for example, is slapped on the sale of immovable property. It just simply means that if there's 100,000 Ghana cedi property to you to buy now, it has now gone to 120. And that is difficult to do.
To accommodate the taxes on that, yes. So please, let's take your final words. I know we didn't touch, I really wanted to touch quickly for 30 seconds on is it possible to have green housing in Ghana, and what could we do to ensure that our environment is protected? If you can wrap that in 30 seconds.
Yes, sure. GREDA, we have greenhouses, and we have developed this. So make sure you always buy a GREDA certified greenhouse. So, and the greenhouse will look at your energy, will look at your water, you look at your structure, and this makes your house not only green, but also the cost of living makes it go down, and your living atmosphere. Now we have collaborated with Koforidua Technical Academy and a master architect in KNUST. So we have a very good program, and we ask the public to have green certified houses.
Green certified housing. You heard it right here from the Executive Secretary of GREDA. So we would like to just take your final words. What do you want to tell the public? What do you want to highlight about GREDA tonight? Mr. Samuel, I'll start with you, and then I'll end with you, Mr. Salah.
I want the public to be reassured that GREDA as a body is working very well with its members to ensure that things like quality delivery is assured. We also want to assure that all concerns that we have, including taxes that are impediments to purchasing power and access to housing, are being dialogued with government. And so we are engaging government vehemently on this issue. And that even though it is not a direct tax that affects us, the supplier, we think that we must fight it for you, the beneficiary of property buyers. And so we are taking it up seriously with government, and we hope that something good will come out of it. And then also, I also remind my colleagues and the industry that Ghana is under this mutual evaluation And so we should stay focused this period and ensure that Ghana doesn't become black or grey listed after the evaluation is done.
Great, thank you. And to just highlight Mr. Samuel's words, we are fighting for you. And Mr. Salah?
Yes, I think the future could be very bright for affordable housing. We just need to change our cultural concept that a house must be 2-bedroom sitting on a plot. I think we have seen that Accra has become a multinational country where you see a lot of high-rise. And we need to change our mindset that, yes, a studio is a house, a 1-bedroom a house. So once we do that, then we can do. And I know we're working with other institutes, architects and engineers to do a 1-bedroom house for 240,000 Ghana cedis, exclusive of VAT. So we want the VAT to go down so that we don't pay the 50,000 extra.
We want the VAT to go down. Thank you so much. Final comment here, please. Good evening. I'm Otopa. Please, I'm an architect, designer, architecture, 2D draftsman with 5 years experience looking for a job in the industry. Please, you can contact GREDA, I'm sure. Thank you so much for tuning in tonight. And I want to say big thank you to these wonderful gentlemen all the way from GREDA. Thank you so much for your time, for the knowledge that you've shared with myself and the rest of the nation. Thank you very much. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. I'll see you next Saturday. Have a great night.
Thank you. Thank you.
More than 80% of global trade is carried by sea. Most of the products we consume daily travel through ports, making them a key link in the global supply chain. The Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority is committed to ensuring the enhancement, resilience and sustainability of port infrastructure and maritime trade. Get to know which vessel is bringing your goods, how much